I'm looking to short Bitcoin. I'm going to show you guys why. I'm going to show you guys when I plan to start shorting Bitcoin. And we're going to jump straight into it so I can give you guys some context on this, exactly when I'm looking to short after this happens. But first of all, I'm going to go over a few things real quick, right? We know that GameStop basically approved their Bitcoin, like adding it to their balance sheet, which is great. It's going to happen soon enough. We have some other positive news. We know that, GameStop just rallied after market like crazy, 8.27%. Amazing with that news that came out so far in March. We're looking a little bit in the green, a little bit in the green. We'll see how that continues as more tariff news, which tariff news has been softening, but it's not over yet. And then continuation of remaining supply continuing to just go down. It's actually dipping a little bit. You can't really see it too much, but it's dipping. No more additional Bitcoin is being made. It's decreasing over time. So the supply and demand is still very strong. But the question is, why am I planning to short Bitcoin? And this one thing has to happen for me to want to short Bitcoin. So first of all, we know, if you guys been watching other videos, we know I'm looking for a 5 wave move up back to 100K. And within this 5 wave move up, we're currently in the middle of the third wave up. Excuse me. Now, the reason I want the third wave to go up here is because due to the fluctuations within this structure, to me, in order for me to be confident in the overbought nature short term of Bitcoin and the fluctuations involved with this, I want to see the price go up to roughly 90, 91K before I start looking to short. This will complete a very healthy third wave, indicating that there is enough bullish momentum to continue a bullish structure. And then I want to short the recovery down, or not the recovery, the retracement down to complete a fourth wave, which I will have the support areas drawn out once we actually complete a third wave, if that happens. So once you start going up to like 90, 91K, I want to start accumulating some shorts on Bitcoin, because the further upside from here, if this happens, we still have a little bit more time left in March, and early April will be very, very interesting because it's going to be the start of Q2 as well. And we know Q2 is usually tends to be bullish on Bitcoin. But the question is, right, if I'm going to go up here, the question is Bitcoin going to go up here? Because if we go to 90, 91K, I want to start shorting down to the fourth wave support. And the nice thing about that is, if we do break past finally the point, or the 1.38 extension in orange at 88.8K, if we're able to pass that, which so far we've been struggling to pass it, we tried getting towards it 2 times, but we continue to fail. And then after that, we do have a little bit of a liquidity wall that we need enough strength to surpass it and not get rejected by this line right here. But as we continue to move up higher, this is going to be a very, very healthy third wave, and a decent, reasonable correction is going to be needed at that point to factor in the move higher. And within this move higher, that's where I want to start shorting, because even if the nice thing is, even if Bitcoin comes down to a fourth wave support, regardless, I want to get out at that support. If Bitcoin continues to drop aggressively, then hey, the shorts are still alive, and potential more profit at that point. So there's a lot less risk in it. The only risk is a continuation of maybe a shorter lived fourth wave, or just a continuation higher at that point. It just becomes less likely of how sustainable it could go. It could easily go all the way up to 95K, but 90 to 91K is much more reasonable, especially understanding previous resistances in this area. It's more likely than not to just find a top in that range. But if we fail to go up higher, I won't be taking any shorts. Instead, if we don't go up higher, I won't take shorts. And instead, if we come down, I'm looking at support areas and liquidity walls to use as strong support. If those supports fail, then that gives me an opportunity to either accumulate shorts for a potential further third dip, deep value dip back below 80K, which 80K is right here. So another dip below 80K, and then trying to find support somewhere around either previous low, or so we have the low of the red extension area right here at 78,000, or we can come down to the 76,000, or even potentially roughly 74. So these are a few support areas I want to look at. 74 is the beginning of this supportive area down here in super deep value, but that's only if short-term supports fail. We have a lot of them too. We have the 120 moving average. We have this smaller retracement area for this move. We have the overall move support area stretching all the way down to 81K. We got some liquidity walls forming as well, and we have the uptrending ascending support line as well. So we have a lot of support lines that either need to prove to continue going higher or reject, and then we can potentially look at shorting all the way down to, you know, of support that we haven't seen in a while. And then at that point, it'll be a good idea maybe start offloading shorts and accumulating longs to, pick up some deep value Bitcoin at that point. But that's only if it fails. As of right now, due to it still holding strong, even though we haven't been able to break past the 1.38 extension, I'm still going to be holding on to my background long position just because until this breaks, the upside is still very much possible. And again, I don't really expect it to have much volume above 90 to 91K. That's really why I want to start offloading longs and accumulating shorts for a correction so we can continue going up higher. Because so far, with all these aggressive moves, we've seen the most reasonable correction was the second wave move down. Very reasonable. It pretty much maxed it out. Then we went up higher. We were consolidating this area for too long, and then eventually when we pushed up even higher after the FOMC meeting, then that's when we kept stretching up this orange retracement area, and at that point it came down and still was kind of weak. It wasn't super significant. It didn't even reach the 0.5 at 82K. So at this point, if we finally break past the 1.3, past the liquidity walls, and finally complete a third wave, a healthy third wave, then at that point, a reasonable correction to either a 0.5 or lower retracement line on a fib level will be very, very likely, at least in my opinion. So that's why I'm very much looking forward to shorting Bitcoin at these levels for a move down. I don't really think it'll go any more than somewhere between 87 to 85K. But that's what I'm waiting on. In order for me to want to take a short, I want it to be like up here in this discounted area, at least between 90 and 91K. Now, the question is though, again, are we gonna hold support? Is support gonna hold, or is it gonna break down lower? And then that's when we start looking at weakness in supports to either accumulate shorts for the move down, or if the move down just happens to build up overnight when the stock market is closed, or even on a weekend, then that is when, we just gotta have patience and wait to see if the price will come down into deep value once again to accumulate new long positions at that point. So I feel like the structures have been becoming a lot more clear than previously. There was a lot of, even though structures have been holding really well with retracements and extension lines, it's been very, very messy. Back here has been very messy and choppy. It's stretching out too long. It's been crazy, and with this imbalance area never got filled, and we usually tend to see these areas filled very well, so it hasn't been very consistent whatsoever. But now the structures are finally becoming a lot more clear, where we have clear wave counts, clear fib extension areas to look at, which overlap with previous resistances, and easy to determine and understand support areas, both with the overall move and the just ascending support lines that it provides. So things are becoming a bit more clear. That's why it's much easier to say that, hey, until, if support continues to improve, we're looking at, a next like little leg up, and it becomes very clear because unlike back here where it's super choppy and kind of too tight with each other, here it's been a lot more kind of separated, so it's a lot easier to determine wave counts. And with that being said, I'm able to get this area a bit more clearly. So 90 to 91K is what I'm looking for. I'm very confident in this area. If it were to move up higher where I want to start unloading, I believe volume will decrease a lot the moment it reaches 90K. And then if we do go down lower, it's very simple to understand, what the significant support areas are with just a simple retracement and then the ascending support lines. if it does break and go down lower, I don't really believe a lot of these liquidity walls are going to hold too well. I think it's just going to create a lot more selling pressure to potentially see deep value, below 80K Bitcoin once again. So I'm going to give this time. Let's see how it goes. Again, there is some weakness in the short term, not being able to pass out 1.38 at 88.8K. But that is okay because we have our plan for the downside, and the 120 moving average tends to be a very strong area for price to consolidate at before either recovering back to whatever side it was on. So yeah, I'm gonna keep you guys updated on this. So far, no new positions, but as soon as I do take a position, the Discord will know before YouTube. But yeah, let's see how this continues to trade throughout tonight. We'll see what's up tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and take care.